fastest show in sports.
I was on the change the Washington name thing forever, and it's afforded, the best thing that came out of it for me was it's afforded me relationships, real friendships with people in the Native American community, people that, like I have friends, I don't have Native American friends. I don't have friends from Indian country. I have friends who happen to be Native American, and they're just really good, and I've learned a lot about the culture. The fact that Clay Travis is putting out, they want chop back in Atlanta. Look, here it is, the tomahawk chop. There was a pitcher for the Cardinals for several years ago, Ryan Helsey. He was Cherokee Nation during the playoffs. He said, it's really disrespectful. This is my people, and I'm trying to pitch in the playoffs, and these idiots are mocking my culture, my religious practices. Well, these people, they think that mocking another person's culture,
yes,
and
funny.
essentially saying that these people are honored, like with Trump, he wants the Washington football team's old name back. All these awful race baiting. I don't care about anybody but white people with nostalgia. Like, guess what? Just because something's nostalgia to you, i.e. the Confederate flag, a name of a team, an old Chief Wahoo image. It's like, just because it's personally nostalgic to you doesn't mean it can't hurt someone else. So shut the hell up and move forward. This isn't being enlightened or woke. It's just being a better person.
That's all it really comes down to at the end of the day, is everybody tries to stick this into some sort of a column somewhere that, it's all just about being woke. No, it's not. Mike, I'm for the life of me, I cannot figure out why people, this whole thing about nicknames with the Washington Commanders and the Cleveland Guardians, why there are some people, and everyone I've seen seems to be an entitled white person who comes out and says, it's no big deal. Look, we need to change the name back. That's the way it was. And I can't get used to saying Commanders, and I can't get used to saying Guardians. Then it's your problem, not mine, not anyone else's.
Right.
They were both racist. And not only that, I wrote a commentary and put it up on my Substack page, which, by the way, if anybody's out there, you can check out what I wrote and what I did as a video on Substack at Ed Berliner, where I basically had to rack my brain thinking about, do you not realize that Chief Wahoo was the most racist mascot I'd ever seen anywhere, with the red skin and the fake nose and the lips? It was right out of the 1920s. It's insulting.
Yeah, it was like a native, the native people's equivalent of Uncle Ben on the rice box, or Aunt Jemima, or the mammy on the cream of wheat box. It's just like some images, slave images. Like if they bring back crappy memories for people of a certain race or background, like okay, fine. So put them in your basement. Like, take them away. Why do we need to insult people? If I was into the Confederate flag and I had relatives on both sides of the Civil War,
because they can.
If I had relatives on both sides of the, if I had relatives on both sides of the Civil War, Ed, I did. I have a great grandfather, Samuel Goodwin Stout, was at Gettysburg, was paroled at Appomattox. If I was really into, like putting my Confederate roots out there and, flying and saying, hey, this is about Southern rights, this is about my heritage, the first black person or Jewish person or anybody that came up to me in my neighborhood and said, hey, I know what it means to you. For me, it was oppression. For me, it was anti-Semitic. I would be like, you know what, John or Fred or whatever, if that's what it means to you, I'm going to take it down and put it in my garage. Like, whoa, like, just be a decent human being.
When we were taking vacations, lived in New York and used to take driving vacations to Florida, I was maybe 12, 13 years old. We used to drive at the time, a lot of it was US 1 because I-95 was not completely constructed from north to south. And I cannot remember the town. If I thought about it, I will. But there was a town in South Carolina that as we went through the town, there was a billboard. And I'm 12, 13. My grandfather was a master electrician in New York City. He was a business owner. He used the N-word. He did it a lot. It was just part of his generation. The man was born in 1900 or something like that. But there was a billboard that we passed, and it was the white knights of the Ku Klux Klan, 3 of them astride white horses, in full raise of the horses. Welcome to Klan country. Holy shit. I mean, like I said, I'm 12, 13-year-old. It was at that moment that I decided this is wrong. I mean, something's wrong in all this. But the problem with it is, Mike, the people who agree with Trump don't see it as being wrong. They see it as heritage. We're honoring Redskins. We're honoring Indians. And they'll come back and say, hey, we got somebody here in Tallahassee, Florida, who says, it's no big deal if you use Seminoles. We're actually real happy that you use them. We like it, as a matter of fact. Yeah, that's because the Seminole Nation gets paid. They get a lot of money for the use of that, and they've been in for years.
And the Oklahoma Seminole tribe, the original, where the Oklahoma Seminole tribe hates it. They have a proclamation against it. They want it gone. So it's the biggest thing. I mean, there are a few native schools that still use the team's name. Like, okay, great. Like, you and I aren't, going and co-opting Jay-Z or young Jeezy for the day and saying, hey, these people love the N-bomb. They've commercially profited off it. It's time we realize it's okay for everyone. No, that's not how it works. We don't because a couple black people in America think Amos and Andy was great. We don't bring back white people doing blackface on television anymore. Like, that's not how it works. So start showing our native brothers and sisters the same respect you do other ethnicities and minorities, and maybe we'll turn into a more friendly society.
And maybe we'll stop threatening people like the president does at this time, where if you don't knuckle under and change your name back to Redskins, I'll get involved with Congress and we'll take away the funding for your new stadium that has already been approved. And by the way, while we're doing this show, it's already been announced that basically the deal's been cut. The stadium is going to go through. Look, I applaud the Cleveland franchise. I applaud the Washington franchise for basically saying, no, we changed it. We're not going back to the old ways because it's wrong. And until people realize it's wrong, we're going to continue to fight these battles.
That's all, folks.